What up? What up? NFL Week 2 has begun, but we're gonna make our picks for the rest of Sunday's games. I guess I'll just say that you picked the Texans, Brendan, on Thursday. I did pick the Texans. I can prove it. I do Kyle's against the spread pick. So we're gonna get into the rest of these games for Week 2 right now. Let's bring Brendan Albert onto the show right now. Tongue twister.
Let's talk about week 2. Week 1, we certainly saw a fair share of our good games. I don't think we had a ton of real surprises. I guess you could say maybe the initial surprise people were probably going to say, well, the Bears held close with Atlanta, and I think you'd probably say, hey, I think the Falcons are a far better roster, a far better coaching staff, far better organization, so they probably should have blown them out. Well, Vegas had them as a single touchdown deficit. So obviously Vegas said, we don't see this being a blowout. And I agree with it. Adrian, you'd agree with it too. And my big thing was Kyle Shanahan's a big loss. And that offense, it looked like it has a little bit of a struggle. I mean, really, you take away that 80-plus yard touchdown from Matt Ryan to a tight end, and all of a sudden the Bears are right in that game. And the Bears dropped 2 touchdowns that should have won them the game. So,
yeah, they had the drive at the end too, where they almost scored. They were just short. So
yeah,
that was one of the games last week.
Yeah, it was.
But yeah, let's get into these Week 2 games. Let's start in Kansas City, in Arrowhead. Obviously, this is an Eagles show, so we will start with the home team. Eagles going into Kansas City. Kansas City 5.5-point favorites. People are getting on me on YouTube because I'm picking the Chiefs. I don't have enough faith in the Eagles. But I'm even taking the Chiefs against the spread too.
Well, here's the thing. And what's the spread, Adrian? At 5.5, right?
5.5, and I got them winning by 7, so I'm just going to take it.
So depending on where you look, and depending on what Superbook, like if you go to Westgate or MGM or whatever have you, the home team will get anywhere from 2.5 to 3.5 just for being home. So this is about a 2-point Eagle favor or 2-point spread, really. To me, I'm taking the Eagles, and I think the Eagles will win this game outright. But the other when I look at it, and
non-Eagles guy is picking the Eagles.
Yeah, and here's the thing, because what Kansas City wants to do is run the ball and throw to the tight end. They are not great at the receiver position. Tyreek Hill is a very good receiver. I don't think he's a great receiver in the NFL yet. When you looked at what the Patriots were defensively, where they were great was at the corners and very weak in the interior. Flash forward to this week. What is Philly's defense great at? The interior. And where are they weak at? The corners. So the corners, I don't think are going to be a problem this week. I don't think they're going to get exposed at all. I think Jalen Mills looked fine last week. And I think, with him playing against guys like Conley, okay, if Tyreek Hill's the only receiver that really scares me, I'm okay with this. I like the Eagles outright in this matchup here.
Wow, look at you. Wow.
Give me the bird game. Fly, Eagles, fly.
At Philly Influencer, we all pick the Chiefs. At the Bitter Birds, we all pick the Chiefs. And on the one guy that picks the Eagles is the non-Eagles guy. He's the Ravens guy.
That means I'm not biased. And when I say things, I'm speaking the truth then, right?
Well, they were all on you for talking. Like, by God, you speak ill of Carson Wentz. Jeez.
Everybody's so sensitive, so many feelings we get, but no, I love the Eagles in this matchup. Obviously, the Chiefs defense, something we do got to talk about. It's a very, very good pass rush. Eagles have a damn good offensive line. Sure, they do have an incredible corner, and they lost a massive blow in Eric Berry. That's a big, big blow. So I think that's going to help make Alshon's life a lot easier. I think he had a good week 1, but I certainly think his best football is moving forward. I just like everything here in Philly in the situation.
Well, here's what I will say, because I had a commenter that was like, well, if you're going to pick against the Eagles, that's fine, but at least say, like, if they can win, say how they can win. So, okay, which I have before, but I'll do it again. So the way they're going to win is getting after Alex Smith with the defensive line. And I'm looking at the X Factor Sunday, which is, by God, Nelson Aguilar. Their slot corner, Philip Gaines, is awful. He's atrocious. I'm sure you watched the opener between the Patriots and Chiefs, Brendan, where Danny Amendola had 6 receptions for 100 yards before departing late in the third quarter. The Patriots had a lead, And then the Chiefs ripped off 21 straight points. Patriots were unable to move the ball after Amendola went out, so they were really exposing that slot corner matchup. So I'm looking at Aguilar, man. Potentially have another big game.
I agree with you. I mean, why not? That's my kind of thought. Is just like, hey, I know Nelson. You know, he hasn't had a really successful. I think last week was probably his most successful week he's ever had since he's come to Philly. But I mean, I am feeling more confident that he can do it again. I mean, it's not. I mean, you do take away that one massive touchdown he had. Okay, fine. He still had a very, very productive game, and he pretty much split the time with Torrey Smith. And Torrey Smith didn't really do much in his opportunities, so I'm with you. I think Nelson can have another successful game here. The big thing will be winning on first down for Philly, making sure they keep Carson out of those third and longs and having those pass rushers really get after him, and of course stopping the run. Stop the run. Bracket Travis Kelce, and you know what? If Tyreek Hill makes 1 or 2 plays on you, okay. If he's only making 1 or 2, that's fine. If he makes more than that, you're in trouble. But I don't have a problem here. I mean, going away and going to Kansas City, it's not an easy place to play for sure, but at least you're going away. And honestly, the loss of Eric Berry is huge. I think that's a big, big blow, not only to get over, but to get over in 1 week. That's a lot for a defense to really come back from.
Yeah, back to the sensitivities. Carson Wentz missed Torrey Smith like 3 times. Did you know that? Did you notice that when you watched the film?
He did. I mean, they were misses. And, the good thing is they were misses long, so they weren't misses for interceptions, right? No. I mean, so they were the good kind of misses you can have. But to be fair, this is still their first season together. They didn't have a lot of time in preseason together. Obviously, you had OTAs and all that, but that's just padded practices. I mean, that's not the real thing. When bullets are flying and we're playing real football, it's a whole new level of chemistry. So I'm sure that chemistry will click. But he did miss some throws in week 1. Let's just call it what it is.
Yeah. And it's fine. He still had a good game. No need to be all sensitive about it. Jeez. Like, the way you got to look at it is there's room for improvement, and he's already so good already. That's the way you got to look at it. Don't be so negative Nancy and like be so sensitive. Like, by God, some of these Eagles fans.
Especially because the Eagles won. I mean, in the priority order of what's most important, getting the win. Yeah. Carson Wentz developing. Having a perfect game is the 7th most important thing. They hit the top boxes. It was a good game for Carson, and I think it's going to continue. So yeah, Adrian, I have the Eagles beating the Chiefs this week.
Wow. Okay. So fuck, they're fucked now because you put the curse on them, you put the hex on them. We're done. We ain't beating them. Not happening. All right, next game up. Now we're gonna get to your Ravens. This is the first game on the Westgate list here. -8 against the Browns at home.
That's too much. That's just too much. Yeah, that's too much because when you look at what the Ravens did, they absolutely took apart the Bengals. They absolutely got after them. I think they had we're at +4 in turnovers. I have a hard time thinking the Ravens are going to have multiple games where they're +4 in turnovers. That's just a lot. Usually +2 is a really, really good. +4 is unbelievable. Yep. I don't think they're going to be able to do that again. I don't think the Browns are an elite offense by any means. I mean, their best receiver is a vet who's, I think, his best football is kind of plateaued, and Kenny Britt. Corey Coleman does nothing to scare me. Njoku's a rookie quarterback in Kaiser. Average at best running back, a very good offensive line. There's not a lot there that scares me, but at the same time, there's not much in Baltimore that really says this is an offensive juggernaut. I think the Ravens will win this game, but the Browns are going to cover it.
This is going to be one of those 16-10s, 13-10, I think. I'll say this, though, about Cleveland. I came away very impressed by how they handled Le'Veon Bell last week. They held him in check. Their run defense looks like it's turned a corner. They haven't been able to stop the run in years. And their defense looked pretty damn good.
Pretty good. Yeah, where they struggled stopping Antonio Brown, and 31 other teams in the NFL can agree with that. So it's okay. We'll deal with that. And they were in the game, and on paper And if you ask fans before the game, they would have said there's no reason Cleveland should be in this game, and they were in it most of the game. So 8 points, that's just too much.
Yep. So I got like 16-10, and there you go. All right, moving on. Next game, Bills at Carolina. Panthers 8-point favorite. So they're getting a lot more points this week than last week. Last week that was an easy line for us to see, but this week a little bit tougher. Bills coming off a win against the Jets. I mean, by God, how good are the Jets? So what do you think about this one?
This is a tough one for me, Adrian.
Yes,
when we looked at the lineup, this was a tough one. You and me said last week easily our lock of the week was Carolina only getting 5 versus the Niners. I said, man,
that was a joke.
That was a joke. But I think I'm going to take the Bills here because I think what we're going to see is we're going to see a lot of betting action, people seeing that huge spread that the Panthers put on the Niners. And I think a lot of people are going to think, well, I don't think the Niners is that much different of a roster than Buffalo. So why can't they, still do a similar thing? My big rationale here is I'm not confident that the Bills aren't going to continue to develop the passing game with Jordan Matthews there and with Zay Jones. I don't think it's going to be explosive week 2 by any means, but I think it will be better. We know they're very, very successful against the run. Shady had a very good week 1. And, as much as we talk about Carolina having a really good front 7, the back 4 still leaves me a lot less to be desired. I know Buffalo is going to be very physical. I think it's going to be a very low-scoring game. I think Panthers will win, but I think it's going to be like a 7-point, 6-point spread, something like 24-17 kind of game.
Yeah, this is tough. Now, going back to your point on the previous game, or it might have been the Eagles game about, the weaknesses and strengths. Now, the weaknesses for the Panthers obviously is that secondary and the cornerback position.
Yep.
But the Bills, Zay Jones and Jordan Matthews, that doesn't really scare me.
Correct.
So it's like kind of like the same logic there. But you're talking about an 8-point spread too, so that's a lot of points. And you're probably talking about a game that may not have a lot of points in it. So like this could be like a 23-13 type of score line to cover your 8-point spread. So I will take the Panthers, but I'm not feeling good about it. So this is our first difference right here.
Got it.
And so we both don't really feel great about this game. So flip a coin. All right, next one. Oh God, this is a terrible game. Arizona -7 at Indy. I'm just gonna take the Cardinals. I think the Colts suck.
Yes, let's just skip over it. Cardinals skip. There's nothing to talk about with the Colts.
Yeah, oh God. I made the mistake of electing to watch Rams Colts last night instead of one of the other 3 games I didn't watch last week. So
that was one of my the Rams game and the Rams last week and the Panthers last week was 2 of my my parlay bets, and I won both. I won my parlay because I was like, I feel very confident in these. Yeah, there's nothing here in Indy. Let's just skip it. And who do we got next, Adrian?
Yeah. We've got. Oh, I like this one. Tennessee at Jacksonville. Tennessee -1.5.
Ooh, give me Tennessee here. Yeah, I like this. I know we saw the Saxonville as now the Jags Twitter handle has renamed themselves. And,
well, this is a better offensive line this week.
Yeah, Texans
the best in the league according to you.
Yeah, Texans is one of the worst offensive lines in the league last week, and now they're going against, in my opinion, the best offensive line in the NFL. I thought the biggest surprise for me in week 1 was how poor Tennessee was at consistently running the football against a very, very bad front 7 in Oakland.
Yeah.
So there's concern there. I can understand why the line is saying, whoa, wait a second here. We thought you were going to be a power run team, and you looked awful, Tennessee, against the Raiders. So I can understand why the line's so low. They still have Blake Bortles, right? Nah, give me Tennessee here.
Well, as you know, I kind of like the Jaguars this year.
Yeah.
I like how they looked last week. I'll tell you what, that Yannick, I don't know how to say his name. Yannick.
The guy from Maryland.
The guy from Maryland. The guy that all he does is strip sack. It's unbelievable. So he had 8 sacks last year during his rookie year. 4 of them were strip sacks. He had 2 more strip sacks last week. Calais Campbell had 4 sacks. They had 10 in all. They were everywhere. It was an unbelievable defensive performance. No, the Houston Texans O-line is not very good. But it seems like all those pieces in Jacksonville are finally coming together. Boye completely shut down. God, who was he going up against?
Hopkins.
Hopkins. So he was shutting him down. And then on the other side, you have Ramsey. So it's a great defense, and I think, but Blake Bortles. I mean, you're right about that. I'm going to take the Jags. So there's our second difference. There we go.
That's fair. We're going to find out real quick how good is Jacksonville's front seven, and is Tennessee's front offensive line that good? And then it'll be a big problem, because if Tennessee can't run the ball this week, I'm not causing for a major panic, but I'm starting to get a little worried about Tennessee as potentially winning that division if they can't run the ball.
Either Oakland is really, really, really good, or Tennessee did not play well last week.
I'm going to go with Tennessee did not play well. I don't think Oakland's defense is good at all.
No.
But Oakland had a very good week. I just think it's more on Tennessee. But we'll find out this week.
Yeah. I will say this about Oakland. They can move the ball whenever they want.
Yes, they can.
That's impressive. All right. Patriots at Saints. 6.5 is your line. I'm going Pats all day. I think they're pissed, and they're just going to whip on the Saints.
Oh, I'm with you. I am 100% with you, Adrian. I didn't see anything in New Orleans that really got me excited. Yes, they were going versus a very, very good defense. Yes, I understand that the Patriots defense did not look very good, but it's one of those teams. I'm going to have blind faith in the Patriots. You know, I think they've earned that type of right. It's very hard for me to believe that the Patriots are going to go, 0-2 to start the season. So yeah, give me the Pats here.
Nice. All right, this game is interesting. Minnesota at Pittsburgh. Minnesota is -5.5. The reason why it's interesting is it looks like the Vikings want to go back to starting 5-0. They want to go back to what they did last year. So they want to start hot. Sammy Sleeves was unbelievable last week, but he's hurt right now. So it'll be interesting. Is he even going to play?
This is a tough one for me, Adrian. And you said the Vikings are 5.5 favorite. Is that what you said? I'm sorry.
No, Pittsburgh is.
Pittsburgh's 5.5. Man, this is tough because honestly, Pittsburgh's offense didn't look great against a above average defense in Cleveland. So it's concerning for me to say, hey, what are they going to look like against a very good defense in Minnesota? But again, the Steelers are one of those teams that I do have a good amount of faith in. 5.5. Man, do I think they're going to?
That's a lot of points. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game.
I think ultimately what's going to happen is Pittsburgh's going to win, but I don't think they're going to cover. I think they'll win by like 3 points. So
yes. Give
me the Vikings because of the spread in this situation.
I'm completely with you. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game, like 16-13, whoever wins this game. And Bradford is expected to play despite knee injury. So he's set to have an MRI. Okay, he did have an MRI, and he's set to play.
As long as Minnesota limits the turnovers and they don't turn the ball over, I feel good about Minnesota covering the spread, but still losing.
Yeah. So, all right, I'll take Minnesota on the spread too. They might even win outright. Who the hell knows with that team? Chicago at Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay getting 7. They're -7.
Yeah, give me the Bucks here. I don't think that the Bears are as good as they were in week 1. I think it's kind of like I think it's just one of those things. I'm not confident in Chicago. Week 1, you can see a little weird thing happen as the season starts to progress. Tampa, this is obviously their first week due to the hurricane, gives them another week to kind of mentally prepare. And let me tell you a little secret there for anyone who's listening as a fantasy. The biggest winner in the Bucks getting pushed back is anyone who has Doug Martin. Because he's got a 4-game suspension, and all of a sudden that bye week has got pushed early. Now he's only got 3 games. So if you own Doug Martin, you just got gifted an extra week. But yeah, give me the Bucks here.
All right, I'm looking at series history, and it looks like the Bears have won 3 of the last 4. They played 4 times since 2011, 3 times the last 3 years. So, and the Bucks won last year by a convincing 36-10 scoreline. That was midway through the season last year, around November. So, this is tough for me because I watched that Bears game and I was a little impressed by how they looked. Tariq Cohen looks like a freaking beast.
Yep.
He looks wow. I don't think Tampa Bay's secondary is the best, but I also am not convinced that Chicago's receivers are that great either. So I like Tampa Bay to win. I just don't know if they're going to win by 7 or more. That's a good line, 7 points, because that's
a good
one they're going to win by. They're probably going to win like 27-20.
Yep, that's a good line. I agree with that.
Yeah, I'll take Tampa Bay, but you know what? I'm taking the push. All right, taking a push.
There you go.
Nah, I'm going to take Tampa. So we both got Tampa. Okay. Moving on, as I try to clear my throat. 4 o'clock games. First one, Miami, their season opener, going to Los Angeles, taking on the Chargers, -4.
This is another good one.
This
is another tough one. I am more of a fan, preseason, Adrian, of the Rams than I know you were. Give me the Rams here. I think the Rams are actually.
This is Chargers, LA Chargers.
Oh, the Chargers.
Chargers and Dolphins.
Doesn't change my opinion. Still give me the Chargers. Yeah, going out there. I like what the Chargers. Like, Chargers realistically should have won that game last week against Denver. I mean, the offense is still as good as we thought they were going to be. I think the defense is as good as we thought they were going to be. So far, the jinx of San Diego always getting guys in the IR hasn't bitten them too much, but probably by week 5 they will have half their team on the IR. But yeah, give me the Bolts here.
I'll tell you what, that San Diego did it. I did it. That LA defense is very, very dangerous. Melvin Ingram was balling out last week. Joey Bosa.
Last week. Melvin Ingram.
Yeah. So you got that tandem. You have great corners. You have Casey Hayward, Jason Verrett. They looked good last week. Just monsters along that whole defense. I don't know whose defense is more underrated. Theirs or, well, Jacksonville, maybe not so underrated anymore after that performance. But I'm going to take the Chargers. Yeah, I like them in this game.
Here's the summary. Which quarterback throws more interceptions? It will probably lose the game because both of these guys have no problem gunning the ball into double coverage.
Yeah. Well, the Chargers secondary is a lot better than the Miami one. So,
yep.
There you go. The LA Chargers will get more picks than the Dolphins. All right, moving on to this game. Now, this is a tough line, too. I hate these, 14-point lines. New York Jets at Raiders, -13.5.
Give me the Raiders to cover.
Yeah, they'll probably win by 3-4 touchdowns.
Yeah, it is tough when we start to get into these larger spreads, especially early in the season, because yes, everyone knows that the Jets aren't a very good team, and to be fair, Oakland defensively is still not a very good defense. They only have one real game to show because we're obviously in week 2, and they had an unbelievable defensive performance. So kudos to them. Not to take anything away, but I don't think their defense is that good. So I could see them somehow not covering, but give me the Raiders to be able to outscore them and keep putting points and points and points on the board.
Yeah. Cowboys at Broncos. Cowboys -2.5.
So this is one of those pick'ems. Yeah, that's really what this is.
Yep.
Man, this is a tough one.
I'm taking the Broncos. I'm biased.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the Broncos. I think that Dallas looked good in week 1, but I also think Trevor Siemian looked better than I thought. I think that the Broncos moved a little better than I would have thought preseason.
C.J. Anderson looked good too.
C.J. Anderson looked fine. I mean, Jamal Charles had a costly fumble, but, he looked okay too. Yeah, I mean, the offensive line was the biggest concern for me with Denver, and they just won a game against arguably the best 2 pass rushers they'll face all season.
Yeah.
They got nothing there in Dallas to really scare me to coming off the edge. So give me the Broncos, but this is going to be this is a tough one for me. If I was betting, this is not a game I would bet.
Yeah. The question I'd have for you is this. Is Dallas's defense better than we think? or are the Giants that bad offensively? Could be a mixture of both.
I think my answer is the Giants' offense is that one-dimensional, and they weren't playing without their best player in that one dimension. They can't run the ball. They're not a very good offensive line.
Yeah.
And honestly, we talked about this when we did our season previews. Dallas is that defense that you put them down on paper, like, my God, they suck. And somehow they're still productive. I mean, they're not an elite defense, no, but they're still productive. So, I mean, everything is easy as a defense if you're able to minimize the game clock, run the ball heavily, not turn the ball over and get in a short field position because of what the offense is. But I like Denver this week.
All right, cool. You made my point for me. So you said exactly what I wanted you to say. The running game really helps out the defense. And Rod Marinelli just seems to take all his shit and he just jumbles it together and he just makes it work. Sean Lee was outstanding last week. I've been talking about that second-year corner like all summer. Anthony Brown, he really impressed me again. He looks like he's legit. Second-year corner from Purdue. He was a sixth-round pick. I mean, by God. So he looks really good for them. Their defense is better than you think. It's everyone was thinking top 5 worst defense. No, Rod Marinelli makes them average for some reason.
You're 100% right. You're 100% right. And by the way, Jalen Smith looked really freaking good.
Yeah.
In the first NFL start there against the Giants. And same thing with Miles Jack. So both of those guys, good things are coming.
Yeah. So people in Philly don't want to hear it, but at least I got Denver winning. You got Denver too? Did you?
I have Denver too, but here's the good news I'll give you, Philly. Miles Jack is one of those guys, rookie year, was hurt, so he ended up getting drafted in the second round. Really good. Jalen Smith, exact same conversation. Sidney Jones. Just saying.
There it is.
Just saying.
I love it. Redskins at Rams. Rams, 2.5. I'm taking the Rams here. I'm not even thinking about it.
Yeah, I'm with you. I have a hard time ignoring the fact that offense did not look good in Washington. No. It just looked very discombobulated. I also said this when I said it incorrectly earlier, talking about the Chargers. I think the Rams are going to be better than people think. No, they're not going to be a playoff team, but I think they're going to win more games than people give them credit for. I think that defense is still very good. I think the offense is moving in the right direction. Goff looked really good in week 1. Yes, it was only 1 week. I understand that, but looked really good in week 1. Give him credit. So, yeah, give me the Rams.
Yeah. There were 3 games that I didn't watch last week, but I did watch this Rams game. And that was like the one game I watched last night. It was either between that or Carolina, San Francisco, or Baltimore and Cincinnati. So as you can imagine, I was just like not really wanting to watch any of those. But yeah, so I was not impressed by the Redskins offense last week. I think they're trying to figure things out after, they're trying to build that chemistry again with Cousins and the wideouts after the departures of Deshaun Jackson and Pierre Garçon. The Rams look pretty good. The Rams and the Bears are the 2 teams that look like they're going to win more games than we thought before the season. So instead of winning like 2 to 3 games, maybe the Rams can win 6. Say something like that.
Yep, that's what I think too.
Yeah. I thought that a big difference maker last week was actually Andrew Whitworth. Being able to keep Goff upright, being able to scan the field. Goff looked good, but he also missed throws too. So it was kind of like the Carson Wentz thing. Like, the numbers look good. He played good, but there's still room for improvement as well.
100%.
Yeah, and I think Sean McVay is making a difference immediately. I like the Rams here. Give me the Rams.
Yep.
Rams. There we go. All right, moving on. Atlanta and Green Bay, Sunday Night Football. Falcons, 3-point favorites, opening up the new Mercedes-Benz something stadium, whatever it's called.
Superdome, yep.
Yeah, I don't want to say Superdome because that's the Saints.
Oh, yeah, no, you're right. Maybe it's just Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Anyway, I'm just disappointed it's no longer called a Georgia Dome because, I think that was always cool. It was just a Georgia Dome.
Yeah. This is an interesting game. I'll probably take the Falcons because they're at home, but these 2 teams played twice last year. Green Bay it was an amazing game during the regular season where I believe Matt Ryan led them down on a late touchdown drive. And then obviously the Falcons just torched the Packers during the postseason, then that NFC Championship game.
Yep.
So what do you think here?
Well, first thing I will say is Green Bay's defense looked really freaking good against us.
Yeah.
That was a big takeaway for me. The other big takeaway for me, and I talked about this earlier, the Bears game, was that Falcons offense didn't look good at all. They really didn't. You know, they didn't run as much outside zone concepts and inside zone concepts as I thought.
Yeah.
They didn't run enough of it to really sell the play action effectively. So there was a little concern, and that was my concern, preseason. We talked about that too, Adrian, with the Falcons. That said, Falcons at home, opening up that stadium. I know what the offense is. I know the Packers defense played well in week 1, but I also can show you a large season of last year with mostly the same players. Give me Atlanta here. Give me the Birds.
Yeah, I'm with you. All right, moving on. Last game on – oh, God, this is a terrible Monday night game. Detroit at the Giants. So if you have insomnia, watch this game. You'll fall asleep. Giants 3 points, by the way.
Well, I mean, everyone's got to play on Monday night. Everyone gets one primetime game. Even Cleveland and the Jets, they'll have a primetime game. This is a one that really depends largely on Odell, for me.
Yeah.
Because I think he makes that much of a difference. But when I'm still looking at it overall, give me the Giants. I don't think that the defense and what Detroit has is elite. Good defense, not elite. The Giants defense is really freaking good. And if I look over and I look at, okay, where the Lions best at, Golden Tate in the slot's really freaking good. He's one of those death by 1,000 paper cuts. He's not really going to beat you on a 100-yard touchdown, but he'll get 10 receptions for 60, 70 yards on you. Galloway is still a rookie, a little bit of unknown camaraderie for me. Marvin Jones hasn't really hit. Don't really love the running back situation. I like Stafford, but I love the defense. Give me the Giants here.
Yeah. Yeah, Kenny Golladay. He's like the interesting name all people are talking about. He had 2 touchdowns last week. But he had a good game, but he also had some he had a drop, I remember. So it wasn't like perfect. Now he's going to have to go up against Janoris Jenkins potentially. I don't see him faring as well. Yeah. I'll say this about the Cardinals. I was wrong about the Cardinals. They stink. They're not good. I was wrong about Carson Palmer. I thought he would bounce back a little bit. Dude, he's terrible.
It is only 1 week, so don't beat yourself up. But
the defense is as good as I thought, but fucking Carson Palmer is back to being the old Carson Palmer. So that Carson Palmer that we saw 2 years ago is gone. He's no longer with us. He is dead. Rest in peace. David Johnson now out for 4 to 6 weeks. So yeah, he had how many? I don't know how many interceptions he had last week, but they were all backbreakers and they were all awful. And it was not a good performance by the Cardinals. So I saw that win by the Lions last week more that the Cardinals let them win. The Cardinals made the mistakes. And because they were the ones that were up most of the game. And then the fourth quarter rolled around. They just got steamrolled. Mm-hmm. So it was like the Chiefs game, really.
Yeah.
The Chiefs and Patriots. I like the Giants here, 3-point favorites. Even though they looked terrible last week, I will take the G-Men.
Yep, agreed.
All right, that's it. Those are all the games. I'll have to check back to see how we did last week. So we'll put the records below, and we'll make fun of ourselves as we struggle to stay at 500 all season long. So that's what we'll do.
Sounds good, Adrian. Looking forward to it.
You got any final thoughts you want to say before we head out?
That's it. Looking forward to week 2. We got a couple, get a better idea of what some of these teams are going to be. We're excited about watching the games.
There it is. All right. With that being said, that is Mr. Brendan Albert, Mr. IMG Academy himself. I'm Adrian Fedke. Deuces.
Take care, guys.